If I were to advise the undead trying to lure an innocent victim into his castle, my first suggestion would simply be less creepy. Maybe don't send a driverless carriage to pick him up and ominously open the creaking carriage door with your dark magic. That's all. I'll discuss that and all the bloody details in this spoiler-free review of Nosferatu. New bride Ellen is haunted by her past, and these memories and fears become reality when her husband Thomas is sent on a business trip to a mysterious castle. There, he encounters evil incarnate in the form of a vampire who has become infatuated with his Ellen. Now, Thomas must try to make it home to protect his wife and their entire village before torment and death engulf them all. Nosferatu may sound familiar because this is a remake of the 1922 silent film of the same name, a film that until recently was very difficult to access, but most people would probably recognize the famous image of the scary shadow figure with long, stretched fingers ascending a staircase. What I liked about this remake is it really respected the original and used the foundation already established to create something new. And this was done by relatively new director Robert Eggers, who received immediate acclaim with his first film, The Witch. Now, I know it's The Witch, but I always like the double V branding they did. From a cinematic perspective, Eggers has elevated his visual artistry to another level. He brought to life this fictional German harbor village of Wisburg. His use of color is fascinating, gently swaying from cool blues of moonlight to warm tones of fire. Two scenes specifically caught my attention. One where Thomas is walking alone down a snowy path at night, and the other is when he enters a candlelit inn or bar and he is observing the surroundings. So he is in frame, but our eyes are drawn to what he is looking at. I wish I had a clip to show you because it is one of those moments that completely immersed me into the character. It is an excellent scene. Tonally, Eggers establishes the gothic mood to perfection. We immediately feel the darkness surrounding Ellen and understand her dread as Thomas leaves on his venture. As Thomas journeys, we see the harsh, natural, open environment at one moment, and at another moment feel claustrophobic as he enters the stone walls of the castle. We experience their nightmares while the characters sleep, while dread the true dangers as they are awake. This is achieved by the aforementioned visuals, along with Oscar-caliber editing and fine performances from our leads, and an inspired depiction of the villain, played by Bill Skarsgård, with a voice that will probably haunt my dreams from this point on. Unfortunately, after this brilliant tone is established, Nosferatu seems to plateau. All of the dread I felt in the first act, none of it culminated into any climax or surprisingly allowed me to care about any of the characters. I was never scared, I was never saddened, and I was never really interested in the direction the plot was taking me. For example, there's a moment where some innocent characters die, and I should be horrified at this moment, but my reaction was more like, yeah, that happens, and shrugged my shoulders. The story has mourning, action, and heroism, but none of it impacted me. I just saw it take place on screen at an arm's length. Nosferatu is a very serious film. The violence, of which there is a lot, isn't cool or flashy, unlike this year's earlier vampire film Abigail, which had literal exploding blood and guts. Nosferatu's violence feels very real and grounded. There are ramifications, and the horrors of this story impacts the characters. I respect that, and I think personal preference will determine which style audiences will enjoy more. For me, I loved the tense buildup of this film, but the remainder of the film never fulfilled the promises of its potential. So I will give Nosferatu 3 out of 5 stars, which certainly isn't bad, but I didn't think it was great. Visually, I think this movie makes for an amazing trailer, but for 2 hours, I was left a little disappointed. As far as Eggers' filmography, I really liked The Witch, so that remains number 1 for me. I would place this at number 2, and then I would rank The Northman, which I thought was quite empty and bloated, at number 3, and The Lighthouse, which I really did not like, way down below at number 4. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss any of my future reviews. Also, you can check out some of my other videos by clicking on one of these boxes.